It is that time for another Ghost and Clover podcast powered by our amazing friends over at EAA, European American Armory. And we'll, of course, talk more about them a little later on in the show. It is August 4th, 2024. So, welcome to the squad. Welcome to the crew. Buckle up because we got a great show for you. About what? I have no freaking clue because that is just how we roll here on the Ghost and Clover podcast. We both bring a topic that neither one of us knows what that topic will be. And a little later on in the show, for our third and final topic of the evening, one wonderful, amazing viewer slash listener out there will be chosen, of course, to give us that third and final topic. So you definitely want to hang around, and you definitely want to be thinking about what your topic might be. We've also got a couple other crazy things we'll talk about here in just a second. But Ghost, of course, member of Self Defense Radio Network. You want to be sure to check out all the cool Pro podcasts over there. And Ghost and myself, of course, members of the even just as amazing Farms Radio Network. And so tons of gun podcast content over there as well. So that out of the way, let's get Ghost in here. What's happening, man?
What up? What up? What up? How are you doing?
Okay, I'm okay.
That's good.
Yeah, want to talk about what we've got in store here. I mean, we'll obviously mention it again another
Absolutely.
2 or 3 times, but we've got, of course, for those that are unaware, we've got Gun Owners of America's first annual big to-do hoopla shindig event going down. Goals in Knoxville, Tennessee, here in about a week or so, a little more than a week it is. And so if you're able to make that, highly recommended, I think. It's shaping up to be a great show, but we may actually have a way that somebody out there, actually a few people out there, may be able to make that show a little bit easier, don't we?
Yeah, if you guys are living around or can get to Knoxville, the area of Northeast Tennessee, and want to go tonight, or not tonight, but to the show, let us know. There might be a way to go. We're going to give a few memberships away tonight. And what that entails is anyone who's a member of the GOA gets into the show for free. And so we're going to give a few away. But here's the thing, guys. To make it to where it's actually going to benefit someone who wants to go to the show, we'll talk a little bit about it later. But if you want one of these, and we're going to figure out how to get them and do a drawing or whatever, we do ask that if you win one of these that you go, or if you know someone that wants to go and you want to gift it to them, just don't take the membership and run, because there might be someone out there that's really trying to get to the show. That said, if you do win this and you have been thinking about it, this might be the thing that pushes you over the edge to get to goals. Now, Jacob out there asked, what exactly is Goal Show? So you've heard of SHOT Show, and you've heard of the NRA show. This is basically going to be GOA's version of an industry event that has a couple hundred companies that are going to be there showing off all their latest stuff. They're also going to have panels. They're going to have concerts. They're going to have comedy shows. It's going to be a family fun event. But it's going to be like a big expo of the gun industry, but it's also going to also serve as some leadership and learning abilities for people to learn more about the firearms industry and community through the GOA. So if you are a GOA member, then you don't have to do anything except for show up in Knoxville. If you're not, then we might get you a way to do that, won't we?
Yeah, we've got the 17th and the 18th of this month is when it is. And I believe that they told us that basically what this entails is a 1-year membership for
That's
GOA.
correct.
So you've got, first of all, you've got the added perk of being a member of GOA for a year. And so when I say the added perk, what you got to realize with that alone is with some of the lawsuits, some of the other things that have gone through the court system.
Yep.
Um, when we were dealing with bump stocks, we were dealing with pistol braces. Members of the GOA were covered under some of those. What were they? Stays or not stays, but
There were stays. Yeah, there were stays.
whatever it was, right? Right?
Yep.
Were they exempted, right? Because GOA, of course, brought the suit forward, and they ruled or whatever in their favor. So, some perks to go along with that, and I believe also, if I'm not mistaken, if you are already a member, this it still applies. You still get an extra year membership, as far as I'm
That's
aware.
correct. That's correct.
So if
Yeah.
you are already a member and you pay your dues, you just won't have to pay your dues next year, basically, is how it will work. But again, we need to make sure if you're in on this, if you're interested in this, you need to be 100% committed to going to that event again, the 17th or 18th of this month, 17th, 18th in Knoxville.
Knox Vegas, baby. Knox Vegas. It's gonna be a fun time, like I said. There's gonna be Saturday night. There's a comedy show by our buddy Johnny B is gonna be doing a comedy show. He's gonna be doing a Spicy Friday Live, I think. There's
Live,
gonna
yeah.
be a concert that's gonna have some pretty big names especially in the country music world. Supposedly there's gonna be some big names. So it's gonna be a fun thing. Plus, you'll get to see all the cool stuff that all the industry companies that'll be there will have. You'll get to see some of your favorite creators if you're into that. We'll all be there. More importantly than anything, someone asked this question on my show a couple weeks ago about, can you buy things at Goals? Yes, you can. Now, obviously, you're not going to be able to buy firearms and take them home. You can buy them there, but they'll have to be shipped to your local FFL. But like accessories and dots and all that kind of stuff, backpacks and all that stuff that maybe in other shows you can't buy right there, you can buy these goods right there on the show floor. So if you're interested and you've never been to an industry show of any kind, this will be a first one to go to. This will be a good one to go to. It kind of gets you an idea, especially if you're thinking of going as media. Maybe to SHOT or to NRAM or something later on. If you're starting to think about doing videos and you want to see what an industry show's like, this would be a good one to go to as well.
Yep. And we'll talk about that later. There always are folks that come in late or whatever, so we'll mention it again. But just chime in out there in the chat if that's something that you're.
And you get to see Rod and Shelley Gates with Aegis Gun Care. That
You
will be there as
will.
well.
Yeah. So you're up. You're on deck first, man. So what you got?
Oh yeah. Okay. So I got a gun in the past week that I'm excited about, and it's something that's not new to me, but it's new to the channel. I've never owned one. I've shot a lot of them, but I've never owned one before, and much less I've had on the channel. So I got me a lever action. That's a tactical lever action. The video dropped yesterday. You can go check it out. It's the Huckleberry LTAC. But what I wanted to talk about is, this was something I've been looking forward to for about a year with other companies and all that. The lever action game was exciting for me because I love shooting lever action. They're just fun to shoot. So what I want to talk about is for you, Clove, and I know you've got a wide array of an assortment of firearms at your disposal, but is there something that either you don't own and want to, or own and just haven't? Is there a type or a firearm that hasn't been on your channel yet that you would love to get on the channel sometime?
Okay. We're talking about the channel. Okay.
Yeah,
Just curious where you're going with this. I'm like,
yeah,
hey,
obviously,
he's ripping off my shit from like 2 weeks ago with the wish
No,
list.
this is going to be stuff that maybe you might have already, but you haven't had it on the channel yet. But is there some kind of gun or whatever that you're thinking about you'd like to get in the channel one day?
Yeah, I mean, I've already been through this, right? You mentioned one time before we were just talking, and I said something about my Tech 9, and you were like, "Oh shit, you've got a Tech 9," and I'm like, "Yeah." Like, I didn't know. And I'm like, I've never done content with it. Like, I've never thought about doing it. We work with so many companies, right? And we have those obligations that we make, and we love doing that, right? It's what this is all about. But we also like to do our own things every now and then. And so, I mean, that's already happened. Um, man, I'm trying to think. Is there? Is there? Um, you know what? I went through a lot of stuff, so I can't think of anything offhand. And the reason I can't think of anything offhand is you remember that I used to do the lawn chair pops, which was
Yeah.
pretty unique. And so every month for I don't know how many years, and that was the Patreon and YouTube channel folks that made that happen back in the day. Sadly, that's not a thing anymore. Um, but we went through a lot of my collection, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Um, I will say that two come to mind. Um, one of which I know we did a launcher pop with it, but that was it. And then
Yeah.
another one, I went to do a video at one time, or actually several, that I went to do a video at one time, and one of them broke, and so
Oh, snap.
I had to do a video about fixing them first before I could do the video about them. And that was the my High Point Carbine, my
Oh, I
Gen
forgot
first,
about that. Yeah, I
yeah,
totally forgot about that. Yep.
my first generation 995, which is in
Mhm.
a Beretta Stormish looking stock because the
Yeah.
Gen 1s had horrible stocks, or
Yes.
chassis or whatever you call
I wouldn't call
them.
them
And
stocks. Yeah.
yeah, whatever it is there, flimsy. I mean, just you could just
Yeah.
almost like they were made out of silicone. It was crazy. And I don't think that's appeared in a video. That is coming though. And for the video drop on the main channel tomorrow, you will see why that one is coming.
There
I
you
think
go.
that'll be a bit of a teaser. So that is on the schedule to actually get that one into the channel. And then the other one's the one that I had broke. I was wanting to do something with some of my nylon series rifles.
Oh, okay.
I've got a pretty good collection. Most people are lucky if they just have one. I've got a pretty good collection of nylons. For those that don't know, spoiler alert for the video, I guess, but um, everybody's familiar with a nylon 66. They've probably heard of nylons,
Hmm.
Remington nylon 66.
Hmm.
But there's actually quite a few nylon rifles in various configurations and actions and other things. And so I wanted to get like one example of, kind of each of the actions from my collection into a video. Unfortunately, like I said, when I went to do that, I had one break on me, and so
Hmm.
I just did a video and repaired it. And sadly, that put that back at the bottom of the list on content because
Yeah.
we had to kind of start over. So eventually it'll filter up. But yeah, those are I want to say two. One is more like a genre of
Sure.
firearms that I have, but those are the two that off the top of my head. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a couple. I mean, I don't own them, so obviously, but there'd be a couple that I would just off the top of my head that I would love to get on the channel would be like an AUG or like um a Tavor, those kind of things, stuff that would be not necessarily easy to obtain and get on a channel, but if someone ever had one or something and I would be able to get, a couple hours to play with it, those would be kind of the stuff that I would like to get on the channel. But yeah, the lever action was, that I've been giddy over a lever for about a year now. And it kind of worked out differently than I thought it was going to. But so far, this thing's pretty cool. It's a 92 an 1892 action.
Hmm.
I think it's if I had to say it reminds me a lot like a Rossi 92. Was that R92 whatever they were?
Yeah.
This reminds me, because obviously without the tactical handguard and all that, but it's cool. This one's got like the wood. It's kind of the best of both worlds. It's got the wood stock, but then it's got the M-lock handguard and the rail up top. And I've already put a red dot on. I put the Monstrum Vader on that today, and I put a Streamlight light on there. I'm gonna go test those out and have fun with that, trying to tactical it out a little bit. But yeah, I put 100 rounds through it, and it's so far I'm really enjoying it, and it reminds me, how much fun lever actions can be. 357 of this is really nice, but shooting 38 special through it it's awesome. It's like nothing. I mean, there's no recoil. It's a
Yeah.
blast to plink with.
Yep. Yep.
Scott Clover, didn't they make a lever pump and a semi-auto nylon 66?
I'm not going to spoiler alert a future video with that, except to
All
say,
I know of is the semi. I don't know
like
about
I
a
said
lever.
earlier, there were multiple actions. I'll say
Okay.
that. So
There you go.
So
Yeah. The that's
in
a
the
22 LR,
66,
is it not? The 66
so
was
let me
22
back
LR,
up and
right?
say there were multiple actions of the nylon series rifles. The nylon
Yeah.
66 are all semi-auto, tube fed from the
And they're
buttstock.
22 LR, correct?
Yes, correct. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So the nylon 66 is a very specific model of the nylons. So,
There you go. There you
but
go.
yeah.
Let's talk real quick about European American Armory. Then I know you want to talk a little bit about goals again, but our
Yeah.
friends over at European American Armory, Chase is out there in the crowd. What's up, Chase?
Yeah, he's
See
staring
him
down the barrel of a tropical storm out here.
He sent me a picture earlier today. He's moved into the new house and he's trying to get everything organized. And he was flexing his cooking knife collection, and he got those put together and was flexing a little bit on me and sent me a picture of his knife collection. It's a pretty impressive knife collection, I'm not gonna lie, but no, he's out there, and we all know what you guys have been following us for a while. You guys know about European American Armory, EAA, some of the best guns out there. Witness 2311. You've got the MC, the P35, which is the high power. The lightweight version won the Handgun of the Year award, and you've got all the 1911s. You've got the Disruptor. You've got the Intimidator? Is that what it's called? What's it called that you've got?
The Disruptor. There's
I've got
the
Disruptor.
Influencer. There's
Influencer.
there's the mine's not. Mine's the dang it. The Chase out there help me, but holy crap, the Untouchable. Untouchable.
Yeah, that's
I was thinking
not Intimidator, but Untouchable. That's what it was. Yeah.
I was thinking Mafia Mob. It's related. What is it? Untouchable. The Untouchable.
And obviously they've got all sorts. They've got the 92 in the Regard and all of that. We've talked about all those guns, and they're all featured on our channels. But they're putting out some great guns, and the great thing about what they're doing is they're giving high quality for a very, very competitive price. And I'm not saying this because they're friends of ours and all of that. I'm saying this because we both own a lot of their guns. I don't know of another company that's offering the bang for the buck value in the industry right now.
Yeah, and they have been. The EAA has been for a while. I've been shooting stuff from EAA. Obviously, they don't deal with Tampoglio anymore, but back in the day when they were bringing those in, and the Regards were kind of just getting started, and
they've got shotguns. We keep forgetting about mentioning the shotguns.
We do.
Well, I do. You mention them, but I tend to forget to mention the shotguns.
Before we move on, I want to mention one thing because folks out there may be curious about this, and I had a comment just because I had a comment earlier today. So I'm like, hey, since we're talking about EAA, it's a good time to actually address this live on a podcast. So the comment was in regards to, I think, a 2311 and one of the different sizes, right? And they have them in various sizes and various chain rings. And the guy was frustrated, or gal, I don't know who it was, but was expressing some frustration that they couldn't find one. And so understand a couple things. Number one is that EAA is an importer. Like, they don't build them there.
Right.
They're an importer. And so they get X number amount in. That is also hindered oftentimes by our wonderful, glorious, thank you, big brother, ATF, which throws a monkey wrench into shit quite often when it comes to importation of firearms. So you've got that to deal with. And then if and when those come in, they get allocated to distributors who then usually have back orders and allocations for dealers. So what you're going to need to do if you're looking for something, a Gerson or whatever it might be from EAA, you need to go your local gun shop. Screw these online big retailers and trying to find it and buy it. Go down to your local gun shop, support your local gun shop, go down to those guys, Odds are they work through a distributor of some sort and say, "Hey, I want this. Get me on a waiting list."
There you go.
And
And you're
that's
in
the
and you're in
way
the queue
that
at that
you
point.
do it. Yeah, drop the Amazon next day ship and shit mentality, and
Exactly.
go support your local gun shop while you support EAA, of course.
That's right. That's right. Now Chase says the storms are nothing compared to his 2-year-old tornado he's dealing with right now. I
No,
love it. I
that's true.
love it when the kids are just on a tear,
Yeah,
especially when they're not my kids because they're so fun at that stage.
yeah, yeah, yep.
Let's talk a little bit about goals again, and let's see if we
Let's
can
do it.
figure out a way to get someone to
So,
go to goals.
so if you're out there, and I'm going to expand this just a
Yeah,
little bit. I'm going to take some creative liberty here with this, and if you disagree with me, then hey,
I
just let me know.
disagree.
Yeah, yeah. I figured you would.
Yeah.
So if you're listening live and you would really, really like to go to Gun Owners of America's Goals event, which is, a mini shot show, a mini NRA, shaping up to be a wonderful event. Yes, it will be annual, but this is the first annual. This month, August 17th and 18th in Knoxville, Tennessee. If you live close, if you're able to travel, if you can get off, if you want to make it, then what we have for you potentially is a year's membership to Gun Owners of America. And if you already have a membership, that will just stack. So you'll get an extra year on top of what membership you already got. I guess if you're a life member, you're screwed. But other than that,
Yeah.
but anyway, you have to be 100% dedicated to going in order to take us up on this offer. And I'm going to say, if anybody out there is listening live right now and you're like, man, I've been on the fence about going to this. I want to go. Let's do this. Then, hey, we've got a membership which also includes the entry to goals. And I would say that if you're listening to this in replay, at least within the next few days or so,
Yeah.
maybe get a hold of Ghost or I through social media DMs, slide into our DMs, so to speak, or
Ooh,
contact us through email or something like
kind of
that,
kinky.
and we'll get you into consideration for that as quickly as we possibly can. And I just say that to kind of open it up to maybe the
Yeah.
replay viewers too. But don't sleep on it out there if you're a replay viewer.
Yep.
Get in touch with us. PDQ, which is pretty damn quick in case you don't know the vernacular.
I'm not street smart like you are. I didn't grow up in the hood, so I did not know that. So thank you. I did learn something today.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I think that there are a lot of people that may be interested in going. This might push you over the edge if you're serious about wanting to go and see. This could be like I said, this could be a family event. It's going to be one of those things where there'll be food, there'll be all sorts of good stuff. Good nightlife in Knoxville. There'll be, like I said, a comedy show. There'll be a concert, all associated with this. So yeah, if you're definitely thinking about going, let us know. We might be able to
Well, and
help
we've
you out in that
also
sense.
might throw this out there too. We've also got multiple memberships that the GOA has
This is
graciously said we could
true.
hand out. And so maybe you want to go, but you're thinking, I got a buddy that traveling
There
buddy
you
or whatever
go.
it might be. You may let us know about that too, because the
Yeah,
biggest thing is that you're committed to going.
that's
We
right.
are not absolutely, and let me stress this, not going to give these memberships and basically event tickets away to somebody who is not committed to going. But if you are, there you go.
Let us know. Get a hold of us through our social medias or emails. And if you don't know our social medias or emails by now, then what the hell are you doing? Not hard to find. Not hard to find at all.
Not at all. Yeah.
What you got for us tonight, homie?
We're talking about goals, and we're talking about these events. We're talking about shows, and yeah, I want to talk about our favorite shows and why.
Okay.
That's where
Yeah.
I want to go. So I'm gonna let you start with that, because I know exactly what you're gonna say as far as top tier and the granddaddy of them all.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite show, and it's my favorite week of the year is SHOT Show. And I know there's a lot of people out there that don't necessarily like SHOT Show for different reasons. And that's fine. For me, SHOT Show is my favorite week of the year. Not only are you able to see all the new stuff, but you're able to see friends that you may only get to see once or twice a year or something. But it's not just that; it's the vibe. And we talked about this before. For me, the whole vibe, which I don't say I don't regret. I missed it, but I don't regret not going. We had other things we had to do, but I usually spend at least over half my time in the dungeon, and I didn't get to spend more than 15 minutes in the dungeon all last year, all this year, whatever you want to call it, for other reasons. But the vibe at SHOT Show, maybe it's because it's kind of the beginning of the year, and it's maybe because it's Vegas. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why, but the vibe is just usually so good. And over the last couple of years, we've had the opportunity, some people would call it the opportunity, we had the opportunity to help out friends in the industry setting up booths and helping set up range days and stuff like that. So you got to see kind of that side of things and have a very big appreciation for what the industry goes through at SHOT. And obviously we know what the media goes through at SHOT and all of that. And it's just a great week. Obviously that's my favorite. NRAM is probably my second, as of right now. I would say TriggerCon. I've only been there once, but that was a very pleasant surprise. TriggerCon's probably number 3. Now I can't say goals because there hasn't been one yet. I assume by the way everything's going and it's planned and everyone over the GOA, I think it'll be fine. And I think it will be up there in the top 3 probably. Yeah. But I don't know. I can't put that down right now. But obviously, SHOT Show is the granddaddy of them all. What about you?
No, I would agree. SHOT Show, whether you're talking about the show itself or even the range day,
or the after events, everything,
or just the whole thing. It's going to be very, very, very hard to beat that for anybody to come in and try to put together some kind of a show. In my opinion, that beats that. It just it's in its own league. It dwarfs everything else. Like that's the professional league, right? Like let's be honest. Like that's
the major leagues right there.
Yeah, without a doubt. NRA. At one time I would say NRA was high on the list. Sadly, NRA for me it slipped. Like this last time, I see goals potentially like instantly coming out of the gate and overtaking NRA.
I do too. Yeah.
TriggerCon was superior. I said, SHOT Show aside, because again, SHOT Show is a totally different league for me. So when I talk about shows, you got to take SHOT Show and put it on a shelf. TriggerCon last year was the best ROI for me. It was the best ROI. The show itself, the range day, like everything was just awesome with it. Mark out there saying, "Oh, off topic. We can't do off topics, buddy, on Ghost and Clover." So
he wants to go down. And now, Mark, if you want to bring this topic up, if you win it, then we can talk about it.
Yeah, we absolutely can. There we go. Make sure you're paying attention for the third segment. Absolutely. So, what was I saying? TriggerCon. So TriggerCon, really high. I would probably say TriggerCon was my number 2 until GunCon, and you went to GunCon, or you didn't go to GunCon.
No.
But the way that GunCon was set up for creators, the smallest of any of the events, obviously, because it's held in Brownell's warehouse. How many, what I'm saying? How many people are you going to cram in there, right?
It's a big warehouse, but it's not that big.
Yeah, right. Well, you got to realize they can only clear so much floor space.
Right. And it's not a convention center.
Yeah. They can't empty the whole warehouse. So that's the problem. And so, but for the size, just the quality of the event, the quality of the companies that were there, the quality of the conversations that were had, just across the board, the range day tied into it, is really close, if not for me ahead of TriggerCon at this point.
There you
Um,
go.
and then I'm gonna talk about one that I was absolutely not impressed with, and this um, was USCCA.
Yeah. Yep.
Now I want to say part of me wants to be fair and say that with USCCA it's because it's the Concealed Carry Home Defense Expo. And so when you walk into USCCA, there's no really long shotguns or
Yeah.
hunting stuff or stuff like that, right?
Right.
It's home defense, concealed carry, and home defense. So part of me wanted to be fair, but the more I went to other shows, the more I thought about it. It just was not a good show. Like the floor plan was not laid out well. The quality of the companies there, for the most part, weren't that great. There was just so much with it that just did not stack up compared to even an NRA. And NRA, like I said, is set a pretty low bar the last couple of years, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's not to say that for the average person going to one of these trade shows, right? It would not be a good show to go to. I'm obviously biased in taking things from a media perspective as well.
Yeah.
So there
But
is
you're
that.
talking about things that didn't, USCCA, not how I put this, checking all the boxes for you, if you will. I'll tell you, and it's not a show necessarily, but the gathering, Palmetto State Armories, and I'm sorry, Josiah and all those guys at PSA, if you're listening to this, oh well.
I
That
forgot about that.
range day at the gathering, I was not impressed at all. It was a range day, but there was nothing about it that made me want to go again. There was nothing about the gathering that says, oh my God, I cannot wait to go to South Carolina next year. Maybe is because of, now we had a great time, at least I did, at the house we had with Ron, and you were stuck with all the jarheads at our house. But that was a fun time. Seeing people were a fun time. But the roads in South Carolina, maybe that had something to do with it. I don't know. But
Getting in and out of the range itself was a nightmare.
there was
Yeah.
something there was nothing about the gathering that made me excited to go back again. So
Well, and the bad thing is, since the last time you and I both times we went, I guess, or whatever, the last time,
yeah,
we've neither one of us have been back.
yeah,
And with they have done away with the media day.
yeah, yeah,
And like once you do that, and you're gonna lock me into 2 days as media, trying to deal with the public on the range. Like
yeah,
you're not gonna give me that one day to try to get all my work done.
yeah,
Without that hassle. Like
yep,
I'm out. I'm out.
exactly.
And the first year that they did it, they were charging media, which is a no go. Like I ain't
Yeah,
playing that
yeah,
game. Sorry,
yeah,
I'm not paying you to do that. Now Scott's talking about TriggerCon looking for a new place. They have got a new place, unless you
yep.
know something that I don't know. They have
In the
already
last
moved.
3 days
Yeah, yeah, they have moved. They've moved TriggerCon. So
to a bigger facility than it was last year, which they needed to. Good for them. I'm happy that they needed a bigger facility.
right,
Um,
right.
any of you been to Demo Range Day? Negative. I didn't know he had a range day, but
I
no.
didn't either. I didn't either. I don't pay enough attention.
Yeah.
And
Hashtag. That's all I gotta say is hashtag.
hashtag Demo Ranch hates kids.
There
Exactly.
you
I'm
go.
surprised nobody put that in the chat while we were going. I'm very disappointed in all of my followers out there. But yeah. So since we're talking about shows and we're talking about goals again,
Yeah.
if you've come in, if you've joined, if you weren't paying attention in replay earlier, yeah, give the spiel this time. I gave it last time.
Yeah. So obviously goals, the Gunners of America's new first annual show in Knoxville, the 17th and 18th of August this month in Knoxville, Tennessee. It's open to the public. It's going to be a great show. Like I said, they're going to have concerts Saturday night. They're going to have comedy shows. It's family friendly, and all of that stuff. It's going to be great. Everyone's going to be there. The industry's going to be there. All of the companies will be there with their new stuff. Yes, you can buy certain things at the show. but it's if you're a Gun Owners of America member, you're covered. You get in. If you're not, then it's going to cost you $25 to get in. And basically what that is a year's membership of the GOA. What they've done for us is they're going to let us give some free memberships away. That said, we're not going to give them away to anyone who wants a GOA membership. There's a lot of cool things that come with a GOA membership, but we want to make sure that the people who are going to get these are going to actually go to goals.
Yep.
So if you're interested in going to goals, and you are not a member of the GOA, or if you are a member of the GOA, this will be for next year's membership. We'll just stack on top of it. But let us know and get through us through our social media DMs or email us and all of that. But we want to make sure that people who get it are actually 100% committed to going to goals. That's the whole purpose of this.
Yep. So let us know, not only out there in the live chat, but in the replay world as well. You've got a couple of days, tops to get in touch with us and all the usual ways. And I'm sure there's going to be links below and everything else to get in touch with us and let us know. And again, like I said earlier, we've got multiples. Thanks to them, we can give away as far as those memberships. So it could be you and a friend, or whatever the case may be. If that makes it easy on you, then let us know. We will
absolutely.
We will do it. So you may notice we've got a 12 on the. What's the 12 about?
Is that Derek Harper? Is he going to be coming?
I don't know.
There's a flashback to 1980s Dallas Maverick basketball lore.
All right. All right. No, that 12 is on the screen because if you want to be chosen to pick a third and final topic.
Oh, that's what that is. Okay.
You need to type a 12 out there in the chat. A 12.
Mark Jackson, if you're out there, type the number 12 and we can discuss what you wanted us to talk about earlier if you get picked.
1, 2. 1, 2.
There you go. There
1,
you go.
2. There he is. He got his 12 in.
And the random viewer topic is brought to you by our good friends over at Monstrum Tactical.
It is.
I just was talking about earlier when we went on with them, but on the I was chilling like a son bitch. On the Huckleberry L-Tech, the little tactical lever action. I went ahead and threw a dot on there today, and when I decided to throw on there was the Monstrum Vader, and it's just a simple red dot, cool little red dot. I had about three or four different dots I might have put on there. I put all of them on there to kind of see what looked good with the rifle, because let's just be honest, some dots are too big or they look weird on certain rifles and all that. And the one that I picked that I thought was just simple and all that was the Vader, and it's just a simple red dot. So,
right.
But yeah, Monstrum Tactical's been awesome. Been using them for probably, goodness, now 6 years. So I know you've been using them for a long time as well.
Yeah, I have. I think I'm going to spin this thing.
Yep.
So if your name pops up here, give us that topic.
I'm a little terrified that Chase has entered this. I'm just saying.
Possibly can. So we'll spin it. And while we're waiting on
no whammies
winner tonight to answer, we will
Hey, how about that? Mark.
So we already know it's rigged. We already know what the topic is going to be. Mark, you don't even got to put that in. I will scroll up and find your topic. There it is. We got it. So we've already got the topic. But yeah, before we do that, Monstrum, man. I got in for a while now, about a year. I've had the Bursa MFT BAR-15, which is the Bursa AR. And got a surprise the last, a week or two ago, the Magpul edition of that. So they got two. Bursa has two different rifle variations. They've got the Mission First Tactical setup, and then they've got the Magpul. So I'm going to need an LPVO.
Oh, that Banshee's pretty cool.
To go on that. And so, it's a no-brainer as to what I'm putting on there. I've got a couple of extra Monstrum LPVOs. I believe they're Banshees sitting around. And so there will definitely be a Banshee sitting on top of that in the next couple of weeks. And you'll probably see that in a video moving forward, because I'm going to tell you, I don't know if it was Chris from the 740, who is or was out there earlier, by the way. Shout out to Chris,
Yeah.
or somebody that posted on X about a sale that Monstrum had.
Yeah.
But holy crap on the I think it was the Banshee, and the the sale price on it was like well under like $100 bill. It was insane.
Yeah.
It was insane for that. I mean, it's they got their stuff is budget minded, but I mean, still, good lord, when you get down that low on it, it's insane. So, um, yeah, let's
Yeah.
uh let's get
So
well,
Mark
yeah, let's do
Mark
it.
changed his topic. He wants to know a
Oh,
recent
okay.
poll that I put out there about CQB. He said, how do you kit up differently in CQB downrange versus home defense? So home defense versus downrange are complete opposite. So I honestly am not going to quote unquote kit up in home defense. Understand that if it's 2 o'clock in the morning, the last thing I want to be doing is worrying about putting on a helmet with NVGs, a plate carrier with 6 different magazines, a drop leg holster. I don't need all of that stuff for home defense. I've got a couple different weapon systems that are going to give me plenty of capacity in one magazine. So I'm probably not even going to grab an extra magazine. I'm going to roll with what I have because let's just be honest, hopefully in a home defense situation, you don't even have to pull the trigger. Someone's in your house or whatever, and they realize that you're there and you have a firearm. Maybe they just leave. I don't suspect there's going to be more than 20 people in your house. So hopefully it's 1 or 2 people. Hopefully that a standard magazine will take care of those threats.
Yeah,
If not, then I have other issues that I have to worry about in life. But I wouldn't even say kitting up. The only thing that I would make sure that I have is if I'm using an AR style or whatever weapon system, that I'm going to have a sling. Just because there might be some reasons why I need to have both hands available and all that stuff. No, it's a good question, Mark. It's a good question. A lot of people are going to put hearing protection on. Some people are going to put eye protection on if they're in the house. Some people are going to maybe grab an extra magazine. They might have a war belt that they're going to slap on. They might put on, you need to do what you want to do. If it means you want to go full on G.I. Joe, then kid up, baby.
yeah.
That's just not me. What about you? Do you when you, in your mind, if everything happens, are you taking extra magazines in your pocket or anything, or what's going on with you?
Nah, Scott out there nailed it. For me, when he said home defense, he's just grabbing whatever's close.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty much it for me.
I have a couple guns that are close for specific reasons by the bed, and they're staged for that situation. So, like I said, capacity won't be an issue.
I'm in a situation where there's a certain amount of deterrence. We've talked about that before.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And so if there's a bump that's going on inside the house, it's a pretty dire, pretty serious situation.
Yeah. They've really got to want to be there.
and honestly, the odds of that happening are super, super astronomically low anyway. But I mean, occasionally there's a bump outside. I mean, you get critters and you get other things that can happen. And quite often that's a shotgun. I mean, adding the, since we're talking about gear and whatever, the TL Racker from Streamlight, which is a flashlight built into the pump.
The pump, that's
that
a cool
goes
one.
on to it'll fit, the Mossberg platforms or the Remington platforms, is awesome. Because I mean, it's your flashlight on your shotgun right there, and awesome for like dealing with critter stuff out in the yard type thing. Home defense, I'm not a big fan. We've talked about that before of weapons mounted lights in that type of a situation. But quite often would be grabbing something like that just because it's going to be there, it's going to be quick, it's going to be easy, and definitely capable, right?
Yep. So Mark asked real quick, and I'll touch this on real quick. So to your poll, out of the three firearms you offered, what are the differences in CQB you carrying uh, between them? So on the poll question, I think for CQB was an AR. Which one do you prefer, an AR, a handgun, or a shotgun?
Mm.
And that's a personal preference. And when you're talking about CQB, and I'm not talking
Yeah.
necessarily like room clearing, I'm talking about being up close and having a home defense situation, close quarters battle. Which do you prefer? And there's no wrong answers. Just some people like different weapon systems.
Yeah.
Is the weapon system part of your kit? Yes, yes. But when I think kitting up, I'm talking about I go to an H harness or a plate carrier that's going to have a tourniquet, 6 different magazines, a first aid kit, all that stuff, a flashlight, all the stuff that's on my carrier and in my kit. And that's not going to be something that I roll with at 2:00 in the morning when someone's in my house. Now, the differences between those three weapon systems, AR, handgun, and shotgun, you have different sizes, you have different capacities, you have different weights, you have different, how do I put this, recoil. All of them are going to be different. So it really, there's no wrong answer. It depends on what you and your household really want to have,
Yeah. Yeah. Scott out there is talking about a can, and about the lack of a can could signal the neighbors that something's going on.
Depends on how far away your neighbors are, but let's just be honest, guys. Here's something that a lot of
Yeah.
people don't understand. If you don't have a lot of experience with cans, they don't make them Hollywood silent. Now, there are some calibers that will be pretty silent, but if you throw a can on a 9mm handgun or a 5.56 AR,
Mm-hmm.
it's still gonna make a little bit of a
Well,
noise.
yeah, and you're talking about what I don't believe a can, unless you're running subsonic ammunition, and there's other caveats to that. But let's just say you take standard 62 grain ammunition and a 5.56 with a
Mm-hmm.
can on it. That's not going to be hearing safe in a house.
Yeah.
Now outdoors, it
Yeah.
probably would be hearing safe,
Yeah.
but
All
in
right. Yeah.
an enclosed room and in a house, it's still not going to be hearing safe. So it's not going to be hearing safe. What difference does it make? At the end of the day, you for me, it's what are the odds that that's going to damage my hearing permanently
Yeah.
versus how many seconds or whatever do I have to waste to grab Ear Pro versus do I want the added length and other things that come with running a can and it still not be hearing safe, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
There's just all of these factors I think that you got to weigh in that. I agree with you on not having the can. That's coming from a very pointed, personal, specific perspective. And you know, depending on there's a couple of things. You said how far away your neighbors are. I could light off the 50 BMG or a freaking cannon in my house, and my neighbors aren't going to know.
Yeah.
Like
It would
that's
take
how far
something.
away
Yeah. Yeah.
they are, right?
Yeah.
And on the flip side of that, even if the neighbors are fairly close, depending on how well insulated your house is,
This is true as well.
there are things. My house is fairly well insulated. There's some things that go on outside my house that I'm amazed if I'm outside I hear it going on, but if I'm on the inside I don't. Right.
Yeah.
And so,
Exactly.
what are the odds if your house is insulated really well and your neighbor's house is insulated really well, and it's some kind of a reasonable distance between the two? I mean, if they're stacked on top of each other, maybe so. But, if there's, you're across the street, let's say,
Yeah.
then it's your neighbor across the street. It's a good possibility they don't hear it anyway.
Yep.
The TV going, right? You got to think of
Yeah.
other noises that happen.
Absolutely. If they have
We
fans on,
we sleep with fans on. Yeah, exactly right. Yeah,
all sorts of stuff. Yeah.
yeah.
No, it's one of those that I do like the idea of not having the can, so that if you are in an area, maybe your neighbors could hear you and you're not able to maybe get to 911 in time. If they hear something going on, they'll know that you're in trouble. That I actually kind of like the idea of that. I'm not a big can guy. Let's just be
Yeah.
honest. So I'm not going to roll. I'm not going to roll with a can regardless suppressor. So that's just me. That's just me.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, I guess we can talk about goals a little more here before
Yeah,
we
let's
close
talk.
it out. Y'all are, oh, wait, before we do that,
Yeah.
everybody out there is going to get 2 Ghost and Clovers in a row, aren't they?
Oh, that's right. That's right. We're going to be here next Sunday as well.
Yeah.
We'll be traveling on the Sunday that it's supposed to be scheduled on, coming back from goals.
Yep.
So we're going to go back to back next Sunday at 8 Central, 9 Eastern. We'll be back again. So if you didn't get enough this week, then come on back next week.
Right. And it's just easier to double up than it is to try to make up.
Yeah, I'd rather be
I
ahead of the
do
game than behind
not
the eight
like.
ball.
Yeah, and especially when you got, the wonderful folks that we talk about with EAA and Monstrum. They're
Yeah,
obviously they need a return on their investment. And
that's right. That's right.
being behind the 8 ball with trying to make stuff up to make sure we fulfill commitments and everything else, that can kind of be stressful. So
That's right.
it's easier just to double up. Um, so with that said, yeah, goals and GOA. If you're out there and you are 100% committed to going, boy, have we got a deal for you. We can get you a year's membership to GOA, which gets you the event ticket
By
for goals.
itself is pretty awesome. Let's just be honest.
This is true. This is true. But the caveat is you must 100% be going. Um, 17th and 18th of this month, Knoxville, Tennessee. And yeah, we would like to see pretty much everybody that we can there. So if you can make that trip to Knoxville, whether you're a GOA member or already or not, this membership will stack. But we need to make sure you're committed to it. So either shout out in the chat, let us know you're interested, get in touch with us through DM's email websites, and let us know whatever we yeah.
Smoke signals, carrier pigeons, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Snail mail. Do they even have snail mail anymore? I think they still
They
do.
definitely have snail mail. Yeah.
It's not going anywhere. Too
Nope.
much. So what you got going on upcoming this next week? I know that you're here in the next short while. The podcast will be kicking off again. But what else you got coming on this week?
It is. I'll have all of the guests scheduled by the end of this week. I'm waiting to hear back from a couple, just mainly on their days and times on the schedule. I've already switched over the front page of the website, and the regular folks know CloverTac.com. You can go there and on the home page get basically the guest list to know who all's coming up for that particular season. So I've already started that. Just be aware if you do go over there and look today, that is um, very likely to change between now and next week as I add a couple more to that. But you'll get to kind of get the gist of this season. It's going to be another good season, I think. Going to be playing around with stand by on the channel when it comes to lives and the long form content and the like the podcast and stuff. There's some major changes coming. Those will be announced on the YouTube community tab on the channel, as well as social media and other things. So there's some things we're going to try for this season. I think are going to work out well and just be better overall for the viewers and listeners out there. Better overall for the health and growth of the channel and a lot of other things. As far as what I've got going, man, we are finally in some dog days of summer where it's not
Yeah.
raining every freaking day. So I was able to get some content filmed last week. Hopefully that continues this week. I've got some 30 super carry stuff that I still need to play with. Tons of it. We talked about that with those Bursa AR-15s. I've got some red dots. I've got some holsters. Still more to do with that Henry carbine. That video dropped Friday, I guess it was. And going to be bringing back, for those that are OG viewers out there, for those that have watched videos from several years back, I had chronograph data. Not to get all Paul Harrell with it here, but I had chronograph data in pretty much every video I dropped. Um, that may be making a return in the next, I don't know, months, 6 weeks, something like that, before the end of the year anyway. So if you enjoyed having chrono data to go along with the reviews and the other stuff, yeah, that's soon to be coming back. What else? I don't think there's any necessarily anything else. What do you got that's happening?
What's happening? Hot stuff. Yeah. So obviously Tuesday night at 7 Central, 8 Eastern, we have the Armed Citizen podcast live on our channel with Clover and typically Kyle from Anderson and John with GOA and Chris with the 740. And every now and then we have some special guests. Will definitely happen every Tuesday night. Got the video about the Huckleberry tactical lever action that dropped yesterday. Go check it out. There's going to be a couple more videos coming down with that. I think tomorrow, my tracking says that a new firearm, I'm not going to give it away yet, will be delivered tomorrow. So that will be getting some attention on the channel here pretty soon. And here, I think in 2 weeks, I want to say maybe 3 weeks. I'm not sure when I have it scheduled. Anyways, I have it scheduled already, but we had talked about last year about SHOT Show. This is we talked about shows today about SHOT Show. I'm going to have a little competition. If you want to go to SHOT Show, then I'm going to do a competition that will allow someone out there to go to SHOT Show with me. I'm not paying your way out there. You're going to pay for your own flights and hotels and meals and all that. But you'll go under the Ghost Tactical. I'll even get you to range day and all that. But there's going to be a video that drops here in a few weeks. It's going to be I think it's like the 4-month mark directly to SHOT Show. That's why I have it scheduled out then.
Yeah.
Like the 21st or something like that is when it's drop. Anyways,
Right.
but it's going to have a video that explains you how you could go to SHOT Show with me. And I'm not going to make you, be my bitch or anything. You're not going to, if you want to walk around with me and you want to maybe do some video, cameraman stuff, you can, but you're not obligated. This is just simply going to be someone that may not be able to get in a SHOT Show that wants to go as media, but doesn't qualify. This also might maybe kick someone into wanting to do more media content and do all that stuff. So we're gonna allow someone to go to SHOT Show with us under the Ghost Tactical banner next year. So the video will come out here in a few weeks to let you know how you could be eligible to do that.
Yeah, and you got to kind of make for SHOT like October is the sweet spot.
That's why we're doing it. And that's why we're doing it. Give it some time and all that. But yeah, that's why we're doing it this month so that they have time, to let the winner will be picked 1st of October or so, and then we'll start getting everything going.
Yeah, getting all the
and then you're going to have to find your travel accommodations and all that. Like I said, I'm not going to pay for you, but I will get you into SHOT Show and to range day. So be fun.
Yeah, speaking of SHOT Show, we'll have an announcement we've got to make about SHOT Show at some point. That's and that'll happen between now and October, but it's not an absolute, no, it's a handshake deal at this point, so to speak. So which everything
is good enough as anything.
It really is, but it hasn't been finalized. So as soon as that gets finalized, you will hear that and probably hear it on a Ghost and Clover first. So be looking for that too.
All right. Yes, thanks for joining in. If you're out there in the live chat, awesome conversation as always. If you're watching this in replay or listening to this in podcast form, thank you for doing that. But we do invite you to come and join the live recording of this. We record this in front of a live studio audience, as they used to say on TV. But it's fun. It's kind of you're involved right there. You could be chosen for the topic. More importantly, there's always great conversation in the side chat going. So we invite you to come here. We also invite you guys and thank you guys for always supporting everything that Clover and I always do in our channels and all of the things that we're doing either together and separate. But we also ask you to go support our sponsors. Now, obviously, if you're willing and able to spend some money with them because you like their stuff, then fantastic. But more importantly than anything is go to their social medias, Instagram, Facebooks, YouTube, and all that. Leave a comment on a post or whatever, and just say, hey, thank you guys for sponsoring the Ghost and Clover podcast. That's EAA, European American Armory, and Monstrum Tactical. They do a lot for us. They do a lot for the industry and for the community. So thank you for supporting us. But we also ask you to go and support them, if nothing else, by just saying thanks to them as well. We're going to see a couple people in a couple of weeks. We're going to see everybody next Sunday at 8 Central, 9 Eastern. Clover, before we get out of here, you got anything else?
It's like a sauna in here.
I said good day.